Well, I think we're out. So here we are.
Real,
How you
real
doing? How's
cool,
your
man.
week? How's your week been?
It's been good, dude. It's been really good. Um, yeah, man. It's just I think trying to think if anything like profound happened this week, but to be honest, I don't think so. It was really just a normal week of, just being with the family, work, things like that. I mean, I know like for some reason I was kind of down this week, but I really didn't know what it was about though, man. It might have been like just like a hormonal imbalance kind of thing. I don't know. Like I just woke up one day and I was just like, no, why do I feel like this? You know what I mean?
Well, we are in the holiday season, and I know that seasonal depression is a thing.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a phenomenon. Like people could be fine all year, and then come the holidays, it just this weird, unnamed, unknown funk just
Really?
kind of sets in.
I've never heard of that. That's a seasonal. I've never heard of that. It's the first time. Wow. But I mean, yeah.
It's a whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely was a thing for me this week though. I just wasn't in it. Like I'd wake up in the morning and I'm like, dude, what's going on? And so, I mean, I'd get over it every day. My solutions were pretty basic. I mean, I'd get something to eat, I'd go to the gym with the wife, and then I'd play video games, stuff like that. And eventually it just kind of drowns out, really. It's all that really happens. But I couldn't say I wouldn't be able to pinpoint it to anything though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I have my own personal theories, and I was talking to you a little bit about on Wednesday.
Mm,
Um, like in between the two holidays, like Thanksgiving coming off the season of being thankful, and then coming
yeah.
into Christmas, the season of peace on earth, goodwill towards men. But then it's
Right.
punctuated by this bridge of dark soul of lost souls that is Black Friday, and like that's where we're at. That's like a pretty accurate thermometer of human nature, I guess, like
Mm,
where we're sitting, like in between being thankful and being, trying to reach out to and share goodwill with our fellow man. We're really obsessed with consumerism, with greed. And I'm not going to say
no.
that's for everyone, but Black Friday is definitely supports those themes,
No, for
and
sure.
for me, I hate that. I
Mm.
love Christmas. My one of my kids even came to me the other day and said, "Oh, Dad, well, you don't like Christmas." I'm like, "No, that's not true. Absolutely love Christmas." But there's a hollowness and emptiness, like if it was up to me, Christmas year would be all year round. And I
Right.
appreciate the fact that we take the time to honor those pillars of virtue
Hmm.
during the Christmas season,
Yeah.
but it always feels hollow because they're not sustained by other people. And then they're punctuated in the middle of these two great holidays, great virtues, with Black Friday, which is kind of where we're at. So I don't know.
Eh,
For me, that's always been kind of a thing. It's like everything's bright, everything's cheery, but there's something's missing. There's a disconnect to that.
Man, I could agree with that, man. And I was actually just talking to Star about this. I feel like a lot of people, whether they intend to do it or not, I feel like a lot of people are a little fake around this time of year too. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Because to be honest, okay, for example, we were at Lowe's the other day. Star and I were just going through, and we were there buying stuff, and there was a group of dudes. Um, it was like this weird like bromance just out of nowhere. They were standing around. What is it? It's one of those like new grills. It's a like a Blackstone or something like that. It's one of those like a Traeger, one of those things. And dude, it's two random guys just there, just shooting the crap about a fireplace thing, and somehow I just like got like attracted to it. And now I'm in this group of unknown dudes and we're just broing it up, talking about a stupid grill. And and to be clearly honest, this would never have happened any time of the year. This is the only time, and it's because it really has to do a lot around revolving what Christmas is and the idea of it and whatnot. And I made a YouTube video about this a few years ago. I think it was like 2019 or 2020, and it was about that idea where a lot of people, they preface Christmas with a lot of like like virtues, right? Happy, joy, peace, all these things, and they leave it in December.
Yeah.
Dude, it just doesn't follow suit. And I think that's what you were saying earlier. It's just it should be all year round kind of thing. And yeah, but that's what I feel. I feel like there's a lot of people during this time, whether it's intentional or not, but a lot of people can be a little fake around this time of year.
Well, and I don't know. And yeah, I definitely there's a thing of that. And just to be devil's advocate for those people out there who are faking it, maybe it's not fake. Maybe there is just something that's so pervasive about the spirit of the holidays that
Mm,
lets people drop their guard and act like community, act like we should be on a regular basis. We're like, hey, I
yeah.
don't know you, but this is a thing that we can enjoy together. Let's enjoy it together, and
All
like
right.
a lot of the guards, a lot of people's guards are down just to be, thrown right back up as soon as the holiday season's over.
Yeah,
At
I think
least
you're
is
right.
how it seems.
Mm,
So even if it's not fake, which it can be, and I
yeah.
definitely want on that, it can be fake. I think it's
Yeah.
the fact that it's so temporary.
Mm,
It's like
may-
it's
that's a
not
better word.
lasting. It's not a
Yeah. I
yeah.
like
There's
that.
no
That's a better
longevity.
word.
No. I don't know. There's a word.
Mm.
It's one of those really smart sounding words too, but it eludes me.
No, but I think actually that's a really good term though. I like that better. Honestly, it's temporary because, like you said, people drop their guard down. And it's not that they're being fake or anything. It's just they just know that this is kind of the moment where they can be more, more embracive, right? But as soon as the holidays are done, that guard comes right back up. No, I see that, and it's a temporary thing. Oh, no, I think I agree with that.
So if I could encourage anybody, like you can't keep the Christmas tree up because the Christmas tree dies.
Yeah,
Unless it's plastic, and God love plastic trees, but you
yeah.
know, embrace that spirit all year round. Like keep yourself in a place where you're willing to be vulnerable, to
Mm,
make those connections of community with people, to reach out to someone, to see somebody and like, hey, let me bring you into what I'm doing. And like if you don't like it, then you can transition in and out of it, but keep that willingness open because that's the spirit that we all long for. And that's the
mm.
spirit that we absolutely miss when it's gone. The absence of it is missed. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts on that.
Maybe that's why a lot of people like spring, or not even spring. Well, yeah, that is spring, right? What's January to March considered? What is that? Is that still winter?
Yeah, that's
Like,
still
yeah.
winter.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess like just that right before springish, springtime.
What's it like in the islands?
Oh, bro, it's the same.
Yes.
It's the same.
It's like it's just another name for a new month. Like
Yeah, yeah. It's the same. It always will be anywhere between 75 to 90 degrees.
man, that
Yeah.
sucks. I'm sorry for you guys out there have to
No,
suffer
yeah,
the lack of
yeah.
winter.
And I think because we're in the southern hemisphere, it's well Samoa is it's like opposite holiday seasons. So our
Mm,
summers is their winter, their winters,
gotcha.
yeah. Our winters, their summer. So it's like actually hot there right now.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
we got Christmas and then January. We really don't have anything major goes on in January. The Super Bowl,
I think
or is
that's like
that February?
February. Yeah,
Okay,
that's February. But
yeah. All
yeah,
right.
I don't know. I don't know how many
Football
people actually.
season.
Yeah, football season. Dude, I was just talking to Star about that today. Like, I barely know anything. Like, I follow football here and there, but nothing crazy. And I was just telling her today that we were at Chili's, and I just said, man, like this time of year, there's really nothing that distracts me from anything else.
Yeah.
Like nothing really going on, right?
Yeah.
A lot like usually there's something on TV that I'm watching, or not so much sports, more of like anime and stuff. But even that, even those, like there's nothing crazy that I'm really drawn to right now. But yeah, man, yeah, I don't know. Like, and it's gonna be like that all the way till February-ish because I don't
Yeah,
really
and
follow
then
football as hardcore.
when February comes, then you got Valentine's Day. So
Yeah,
if
who
you were missing
celebrates that
community,
anymore?
if you were well, no, yeah, if you were missing community through the Thanksgiving and Christmas season, and then Valentine's Day comes up and like, yeah, I don't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a significant other either. It's like, why do I even exist at this point? I'm like, all right, I'm ready to check out of the whole humanity simulation.
Yeah.
So that's a thing. Like it's real. I felt it myself,
Mm,
and I can honor that in other people.
yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean? You felt what? Like the like just nothing to look forward to between those months.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Oh, okay.
in those times where it's like, gosh, I don't know how much I should preface, but yeah, it's just in those times where it's all about family, togetherness, community. When you
Mm,
don't have it,
hmm.
you really feel the lack of it when
Yeah.
everybody else is celebrating it and propping that up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was the worst feeling ever. I remember one time I was by myself in Dallas, and this was, I don't know, maybe 20 some odd years ago. I was in my apartment. I just like had the power turned off,
Hmm.
like as I discussed before, like my birthday's right here around Thanksgiving, and it was one of those days where it fell on the 28th, the day before my birthday. So I'm sitting in my apartment all alone. All my friends had gone off to their family in different parts of Texas, and I'm sitting there in my apartment alone with no power, eating one of those little pumpkin pies you get from the gas station for like a
Yeah.
dollar. And I'm like, yeah, happy birthday to me.
Oh man, I got
It
you.
was
Yeah.
it was like classically miserable,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those moments that have just been just emblazoned in my mind. Just that
Yeah.
feeling of unattached, depressed, hopeless. Like that was probably one of my darker moments.
Mm. No, I feel that, man. I do feel that.
There's
But
a
yeah, no, I get that, man. I get it. But then I don't know. I look forward to. I do love spring though. I kind of
mhm.
do. I mean, so usually, me and my cousin, we like our families always get together on. I think it's what's celebrated that. It's not Labor Day, is it? Labor Day's in like
No,
May.
that's September.
Oh, okay, so Memorial Day then. Yeah, so Memorial, we always get together and whatnot, and then we'll do it again in the summer, and then Labor Day we'll get together in September as well. And so, like that, because it's like so like dispersed out between spring, summer, and then just pre-winter. What would that be? Fall actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those like kind of keep me on track with certain expectations of gatherings and whatnot. And then whatever we do at church, like our week to week thing. It's kind of
No,
the
I
only
think
thing.
I think it's absolutely important. Like one of the, and reading through the Bible when you get through Exodus and Leviticus, and it gets so
Hmm.
droll and so dry, and they're talking about like the specifics for all the holidays, and like it's really easy to get caught up in the details. But when you
Yeah.
see the big picture, it's like, no, we're spreading the party out over the year to
Mm,
to give you a sense of sustainability,
yeah.
because you can't keep the high notes from each holiday.
Mm,
Like you need to be moving on to the next one, moving on to it. So it's always something to look forward to. So like
well,
in times like these, if you don't have that sense of community, those things that you can celebrate with other people, man, it hits different on a whole new level, a whole new level.
oh,
You know what I mean?
for sure. For sure. Yeah, I mean, like I've done it by myself and I've done it with, people, community, and I can definitely say that my vote will always be with being together with people. That's
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. I mean, as
absolutely.
much as I think that's one of the things today that a lot of people, especially young adults, kind of fight with, mentally is a lot of people want to be alone. They want to just be by themselves, and I don't know. I'm always against that, right? I think there's a time and place for sure to be able to gather your thoughts, do what you need to do, but I think whenever it's there's meaning behind breaking bread with people. There's purpose in just gatherings and getting together, even if you're not gathering for any specific reasons. But I feel like there you can always find like true meaning in it.
Mhm.
It's a good thing for sure. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic that I'd love to do a video about, is just the loneliness epidemic. And I've seen some really good videos, and I can speak from the context of being a guy. So I really want to do like a reaction or a thought video about the
Sure.
male loneliness epidemic. But
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of people who are retreating into it because man, people are icky. People are disappointing.
Hmm.
People hurt
Hmm.
you, and there's a lot of people that think that the answer is just retreat,
Hmm.
retreat into the shell. But it feels right in the moment, but the long-term effects are just devastating. They're
Hmm.
devastating because we're like me, I'm an introvert. Like I get charged, or I'm sorry, I get drained when I'm around a lot of people. But I actually get charged when I'm having like one-on-one conversations, like with you right now. Like this charges my battery, even
Yeah.
though being in a group setting drains me.
Yeah.
So like I recognize that about myself, even as an introvert. Like I don't like to be around a whole lot of people, but I still
Hmm.
need those personal connections because without that, I would be flat and stay flat, you know?
Yeah. Hmm.
So
So, like, as somebody that like, I identifies themselves like, as introvert, what's your, because I'm always curious about this because I don't know where I fall on that spectrum. I do know that I don't like being around a lot of people. Like even just going on our main road over here and then driving down, dude, sometimes it becomes overwhelming. I'm not even interacting with people, man. I'm just like I'm in the moment and I just know there's a bunch of people around me. But just like you, I'm not used to being just face to face with too many people. But anyway, what as an introvert, what is considered too many people around you?
so I can't speak universally for all
Sure.
introverts, but
Uh-huh. One too
I
many,
would
huh?
honestly, being in front of one person that I can't connect with can be
Hmm.
overwhelming,
Yeah.
and like you were talking about that fake, like, I don't know. I don't want to like claim too many labels, but like, I know I've got some like neurodivergent stuff, whatever. Like I read into people a little bit more. I read emotions, I read tells, and that can be exhausting just
Hmm.
receiving information off of somebody. And when someone's
Yeah.
being fake, or putting on a face or a front or whatever, like I can
Yeah.
tell that, and I'm like, I'm expending energy and it's going nowhere. This is a pointless interaction, and like I just need to check out.
Yeah.
So it could even be one person, but at the same time, like anytime we go to church, we go to a small church, but like I can be around, like the church can be at maximum capacity, but I know each one of those people, and like we have intimate
Mm.
personal relationships. So I get the charge from them. So I really can't put a number on it. It could be as low as one,
Right.
you know, and any number after that. But then again, you fill up our church with the people that I love and know and interact with and have real relationships with, and I just get nothing but fed by them. So I
Yeah.
really can't give you a universal
Yeah.
quantification for that.
No, I get that. No, for sure. And so then I guess I wonder if it's like if I were to analyze that, I'd say like, man, is it even a thing of introversy or is it more of just being in the known or unknown, right? It's like I don't feel comfortable in the unknown. That's why I have these crazy dumb anxieties when I'm driving around people that I don't know, right? But like you stated, if you're in an area, it could be maxed out, but if it's filled with people that you know, you definitely feel more comfortable. Oh, that's a good perspective of yours. I like that. I really
And
like
even
that.
even in those situations, like, and I'm sure you've kind of observed it, like I'll be quiet sitting at the table by myself,
Mm,
and I'm perfectly good doing that and just kind of like
yeah.
watching it and getting the energy off of that. Like I
Mm,
will tend to, I'll guard, and if I need to step outside, I'll step aside, whatever. But yeah, I have a lot more sustainability when it's people I know. I think, and I don't know if this is related. I actually didn't even have this thought until just now, but it could just be the constantly being on guard, constantly having the armor up, constantly having your bullshit detector on.
mm,
It just, I don't know, maybe that's what it is. It's just like if I don't feel comfortable, like
yeah.
I'm gonna get drained quick.
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that. I had this conversation once. I was flying from Ontario, California, out to Salt Lake City, and the woman sitting next to me, she was a psychiatrist, and it was psychiatrist, psychologist.
Mhm.
Psychiatrists are the ones that talk to, like, they do therapy, right?
That's the psychologist.
So,
Psychiatrist give
oh,
you meds.
oh no, okay. So she was a psychologist. Okay.
Psychiatrist is a psychologist with candy.
Yes. Okay. So she was a psychologist. She would talk to people. She was a therapist,
Mhm.
essentially. But um, one of the things that I'd asked her was like, "Well, do you have a switch that you turn on and off?" Because just like you, oh, and a lot of people, I think some people kind of overanalyze. And
Mhm.
she actually, what she said was pretty cool. She says, "Well, no, I've learned. She had learned to, to know how to distinguish between that. And when she's home, and she's out and about, she's out and about. And at work, that's when the switch is on, and she's analyzing people." But it was something that she found that was problematic for her, even in like the practical sense of just talking to regular people. She's not even talking to a patient. She's just trying to have a normal conversation with people.
Right.
And she would start overanalyzing, and she would look at people and their little quirks, and in her mind, in the background of her mind, she's dissecting them. And she said, just like you, it just became super exhaustive. And she somehow, I didn't get into that deep of a conversation where, where I was asking her, well, what was the solution? But she did, mention that she was able to fix it. So I think that is probably something we are all able to maybe look at, is that we can sometimes overanalyze, and to find that on and off switch.
Yeah. I can say this, and this is something that, I've kind of been walking out here recently, as far as a solution to that is
Mm,
I've noticed, and I do not recommend this to anybody else. Like you really need to do some self-reflection and before you make this decision.
mm,
But I have a specific calling to be transparent and honest with people.
yeah.
So one of the things that like one of the biggest rigors for me in dealing with someone new is trying to hide or trying to bottle my personality to be something that they could like or appreciate enough to get through that casual conversation, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm learning to just be upfront and honest and transparent about who I am, what I'm thinking, and do it in a polite way. It's not like, well, that's just the truth. Like if you can't handle the truth, that's my, like no, not like that. Not to be
Yeah.
a belligerent with honesty, but
Yeah.
just to be like, oh, okay, well, that's interesting. Like that clicked this part of my brain. What do you think about this? Well, and I can end up coming off kind of hyperactive or just really friendly. I don't know. I hope it's
Yeah.
friendly. My
Yeah.
wife says I'm just weird and socially awkward, which is fair, but that's how I tell them it'll do it. And
Mm,
I look for those situations like when I'm stuck next to someone on a plane, even though I'm an introvert, I'm like, hey, you're not reading, you're not looking, if you look open, like I'm going to engage with you,
yeah.
and because again, that's my thing is like I want to create community wherever I go. And if I
Right.
can like find out what's special about somebody, then I
Hmm.
get to celebrate that with them. And that makes me feel like a part of something bigger, you
Mm,
know but yeah, that it could be really dangerous for some people. Like some people need to be guarded, and I
mm,
really don't have anything to hide. So
yeah.
yeah, like if you ever ask me what's on my mind, I'm
Be
gonna tell
ready.
you.
Be
Yeah,
ready.
strap yourself in because here we go. It's gonna be a ride. Um,
There was this, there was this meme that it was actually not a meme, but one of those little short stories on Instagram, and it was somebody doodled it in stick figures, so it was just absolutely funny. But one of the dudes just asks him, I think it's a cashier, is like, "Hey, how you doing?" And the guy just says, "Well, and just gets deep and is like, "Well, I'm just depressed, dead, and this," and then the cashier just replies, "Oh, well, next time just shut the F up." It was freaking hilarious, man. But no, I get it.
uh,
I do know what you mean. Yeah.
I got in trouble with that when I was in the army, and this was before I had practiced
Yeah.
open and honest transparency in a sociable way.
Hmm.
We were at the aid station, and the battalion sergeant major came by, just random inspection, like, hey, how's the troops, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hide in the corner. And he singled me and was like, hey, Summers, come over here. He's like, how are you doing? I'm like, well, Sergeant Major, I hate my job. I hate the people I work with. And since I live right across the street at the barracks, I pretty much hate my life. And he could have just annihilated me right there on the spot. But I think
Right.
just the brutal honesty kind of took him by surprise. And he's just like, okay, I'm gonna leave and pretend this never happened. I'm like, yeah.
Right.
And I remember my sergeant lit me up after that. I mean, it was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah.
But
No,
yeah,
I think, yeah, no, I get it. I think when it comes to things of that nature, especially like transparency, I think it's great when people want to be an open book and they're willing to convey their life. But I think there is like time and place for everything.
mm,
I know like usually if I'm talking to somebody and I'm going to share anything with them, you can kind of gauge out in people. They show like little key markers or key indicators of how they're feeling. I think most
mm,
people have a general sense of this, how you can tell how somebody is feeling upon their facial expressions. And just based off of that, I usually use that to, well, how am I going to
test the
deliver
water.
this? Yeah,
Yeah.
how am I going to deliver this? I'm not just going to just go raw and just destroy somebody's life. Just I don't want to kill anybody's mood or put them down anymore. But yeah, I mean that's usually how I approach those things. I'm not usually an open book right up front. I'm not, but that's just
Yeah,
who I am.
yeah, there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong. There's reasons for all of that stuff and social
yeah,
niceties and yeah, I don't buy into it.
hmm
I don't benefit from it, so I don't play by that rule. But again,
yeah,
I try to keep politeness, but the thing of it is if I'm looking for open honesty out of somebody, and if someone comes to me and just wants to dump on me and be like,
mm,
man, I want you to because I want to feel your pain. I want you to know that you're not alone in it. You know what I mean? So that's
gotcha.
important to me to have that, even if it's good, like I'm going to be receiving all the crap.
hmm
Like I want that because I know what it's like to have that bottled up inside of me. So if you see me and you just want to dump on me, dump on me. We'll go, man. I'll cry with you. I'll hug you. I'll walk through
Yeah,
with you.
yeah,
But I completely forgot what I was just saying.
yeah. I
I understand there's a need for the masking, but for me,
yeah,
if I want open communication with people, how could I
yeah.
do anything less but give them the same? You know?
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree to that. But again, I think whenever I say time and place, I'm usually saying that,
Yeah.
like so for example, I would dump that truck real quick. You know what I mean? But if it's somebody I have no clue who they are and but they're just asking out of a general respect, saying, "Hey, how are you?" I don't know. Like it's probably just gonna be a general response like, "I'm good, bro. Like, have a
Yeah.
great day." You ask me, I might, yeah, well, open your arms real quick,
Let me think
bird.
about it a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Is what it is, man.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't know. I've kind of been on a kick. I've been doing a lot of deep dives on what it mean, what even is socially normal, and is it a good thing?
Mm, yeah,
Because I'm not sure it is. So
yeah. Like,
I don't
so
know.
what do
Like
you mean? Like, what kind of social norms are you, or what kind of ideas, or
it could
are?
be anything, but like I've been studying a lot about like neurodivergent. Like so neurodivergent, someone who thinks or who's wired differently, they
Mm,
imply someone who is neurotypical, and what is neurotypical? Like, will they have an understanding of what are social norms, so social ideas that are acceptable, social acceptable, whatever, common sense, I guess you would say even.
yeah,
Um, and these other people don't have it. And I'm like, okay, well, what is common sense? Like, if it's not common to everyone, then it's not common. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
the fact that
yeah.
there's even a difference in those things, like it causes me to analyze what is considered normal
Mm,
and is it even a good thing? And like I was talking to you earlier, and it's another video I'd like to do is like, what does it mean to be a man?
yeah,
And like there is no right answer to that question. There are definitely
yeah,
some wrong answers, and like the in this age, toxic masculinity is a term that's thrown around ad
yeah,
nauseum. But for a reason, it's got a place because there is some toxically masculine behavior. But it could be the
yeah,
same thing with women too, like it's not just a male thing. And it is people get these ideas of what is socially acceptable, socially normal, and they
yeah.
will go out of their way to put on that face, that front, that act,
hmm
but it's garbage. It doesn't, there's no substance to it, and there's no
Yeah,
sustainability to it, and it blocks people off from making a real connection, you
yeah.
know?
No, I get that, man. And like just to like well, whether we do a deep dive into this or not, I'd like to talk about it. But like with the whole like to me, the I hate the whole like masculinity thing. That is toxic. It for real is because here's the truth, man. All these guys that are like, "Oh, I'm gonna eat steak every day. I'm gonna go and pump weights, and this is what it means to be a man." And yeah, I'm like, no, it doesn't. No, no. Like all you like, sorry, you're a bunch of losers. They just want to cling to the stupid idea of what it really means to be a man. Now, do I appreciate some of those things? I like to lift
Sure.
weights.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I think it's cool. It betters me. I think it gives me like it helps people with certain types of disciplines and there's I don't think anybody can argue that lifting is bad for you other than your joints, right? But or like just exercise or whatever. I don't know whatever people like enjoying to do. But if somebody wants to say that that is a definition of what it means to be a man, stupid. That's
Yeah.
absolutely stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You can't take your coping methods and make them an identity.
right, right.
You like put them
Like
in the box they belong to. Like these are things I enjoy. I enjoy cars. I enjoy sports. I enjoy
mhm,
lifting weights. I enjoy steak.
yeah,
That's great. Those things make me feel good about myself. But don't craft your identity
right,
around those things because those aren't identifying markers. They're
right,
just
exactly.
hobbies and interests, you know?
I think it's more of like looking at like end goals and then like okay, so we know the the where the end where the finish line is. Well, how do we get there? And that's really what it is. And from that point, however you branch off is what it does. But we're all aiming for the same thing. And for example, like I like the whole the thing where the masculine toxicity is more prevalent, it's really, really prevalent in married people, especially the men that are married and they're saying, "This is how you be a father. Don't tell me how to be a dad.
Yeah.
This is how you be a husband. Don't tell me how to be a husband." You know what I mean? It's just it's insanity. I think there's only one place where you can get most of that um, direction as far as being father figure or whatever is in the Word of God, but outside of that, man, yeah, I think the masculinity that people are always just putting out there, it's not good for people. It really isn't.
Yeah. And I don't know, even in the biblical examples, like I don't think that it's really hard lined about it around a specific role. Like there are is like,
No.
like husbands love your wives, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's really like general advice for no matter who you are, no matter what walk of life you are, like here's how to be a decent person,
Hmm.
you know? And yeah, I don't know what to do with all that. It's
Yeah.
some interesting stuff, interesting thoughts, and then some of those thoughts and some of those paths, when you put too much more weight into it than it deserves or ever needed, it
Yeah.
becomes a mutation and it fulfills itself in like a really bad or toxic way, you
Right.
know?
Right. Yeah, absolutely, man. And
Because
again,
I
I
mean,
think
thinking
that's
about it,
why.
like toxic masculinity, like you know, they take a social trope like the hunter gatherer, right? The
Mm,
provider, the protector, and all toxic masculinity traits that are a mutation of those things. Like
mm,
the hunter is the guy like, well, I'm going to go out and spend all my time with out in the woods hunting deer or
yeah.
whatever, and no time with
Right.
my wife and kids, or I'm going to be out doing this or this new conquest, and it's always about the next big thing and never about what you have in front of you. And the provider is like, well, this is my house and I'm the one that brings this in, so it's my way or the highway. You end up
Yeah.
morphing into this tyrant character. Like every single one of these aspects, like they're taken to an extreme that they were never meant to.
Hmm.
And the
Right.
toxic behavior flows from, just the how disconnected you are with where it should be versus where you've made it.
Right.
Uh,
And now when it does come to like, I mean, again, like whether it's a general definition or not, I think when it does come to being like, you know, a man, for sure, I think a lot of it does come around like trying to have some kind of authority in your own life, right? Not so much other people's lives, but just in your own. It's just having a lot of control and whatnot. But Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely like it's a tightrope to walk, I think.
Yeah.
I won't sit here and say that like people can just say whatever the heck they want, and
Yeah.
like or say that there is no existence of like what is a man, right? Things like that. I do think there's some indicators, right, of like what a man should do in their life, but
Sure.
like
But
just
is it because it's a man or because it's general advice?
like in what sense do you mean general? What do you mean by
Well,
that?
I mean, I'm asking you, like, is it specific to men or is it really generalized? Because, like, when I was, think about the hunter, the provider, the protector.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can name you 1,000 women who fill those roles
Yeah.
and well.
Yeah. Oh,
You know
for
what I mean?
sure.
And it's
Yeah.
not that they're more manly than the men. It's just that they're good people. Like
Yeah.
they're uniquely suited and talented to fill those roles, and no
Yeah.
shame.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
No, I
again,
don't.
like, what does it mean to be a man? Like, is
Right.
there something that like, well, if you do this, you can't be a man. You do this, you have to be a woman. Like that's the pit that I fell into because growing
Yeah.
up in North Carolina, like
Yeah.
it was all redneck hunting sports, and I don't do any of that stuff.
Exactly.
And people used to tell me I was gay and girly and feminine, and
Yeah.
like I'm like that. None of those things are true. I'm just not the wife beating meathead that you guys are. It's just
Right.
not my bag.
Exactly. Yeah. I think a lot of that. I mean, when it comes to like what people do, I don't know, exclusively. Like for example, I think one thing that our culture in America suits with being a man is watching NFL. I think that's stupid. I think right, and then you can take that. Oh, I'm going to label it just as a hobby, and people just
Mhm.
associate certain types of tasks or actions or hobbies as being a man. But I think it's more of like an intrinsic thing too. I think that there are things that the way men and women think and the way they go
Sure.
about doing certain things does there is a dividing line in certain things. Now I can like usually in the like in a conversation like this, I can only really speak for how that is in like my marriage. I can't say that as an individual man, right, or an
Sure.
individual woman, because what that looks like, I probably couldn't recollect from when I was like 18 or 20. But yeah, man, I just think that in my case, it's more of like a like I do think that men usually do walk around with like a little more control and authority over who they are, right? But and then you can easily have an argument of saying, well, does that mean women don't? No, that's like, and that's where it gets a little like a little hard to dissect from. But I do feel that men usually come from a more authority background kind of thing, I guess. What are
I
your
can see
thoughts?
that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think it's subjective. I think that
sure.
there's definitely the societal standard, but I've seen so many people that just don't fit into that and they're okay with that.
Mm,
As far as like the authority, like one thing that I have noted, it's a generalization, it's not 100% true, but men definitely tend to be a little bit, and I don't want to say logical because women are illogical, but men tend to be like observant of facts and they make decisions based
mm,
on fact. That they're very outcome oriented, where
yeah,
women tend to be a lot more emotional. And I think that is true, and it's not 100% for everyone because there are individuals that exist on both sides. But I think it's generally true. Men are more outcome oriented, women are
yeah,
more emotionally oriented, and
mm,
it shows in their thinking as well. So there are
right,
some things that men are probably better to suited some jobs and positions that men are probably better suited to because of the way that they're wired. And it's not
right.
that we couldn't do it; it's just in general speaking.
Hmm.
So I don't know, but like I said again, with the rise of neurodivergence and people being aware of alt thinking and whatever, I think people
Mm,
are a little bit less afraid to be
yeah,
themselves. And you're starting to see people who are equally aplomb to these things
yeah.
because they're not trying to hide behind a social norm or stereotypical norm.
Right. And I think you can also see this in like history as well. I mean, you look at what history has depicted as not even depicted, what we know as factual who our kings were in the past, right? Who was ruling the earth back then? Usually it's like these really big masculine dudes. It
Yeah.
usually was. And then as time goes on, you notice that it went from, the broadheads to the more like intelligent people who are on the more slimmer side, who may have, may have had more feminine features, who knows? But, and that's kind of who you see today. Like the people who lead this country, America, they're not some big knight in shining armor, right? It's not some big dude. It's just a guy. He's just an old dude, right? I mean, so, I think that whatever is what people would like call a social norm for what a man would be, that, I mean, that has probably evolved over time for sure.
Yeah. I also think there's that constant flow, like the hard men or hard times make hard
Yeah.
men make times make soft men, and then the
Hmm.
cycle repeats. So there's probably some of that. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, well, you'd mentioned earlier that you knew some dudes who like fit in a like totally subcategory of what the social norm for a man is. What do you mean by that? And like what would that be? I'm just curious.
What do
Just
you mean? If you could clarify that a little bit for me.
well, so I'd said, well, I guess like what, so these people that you're referring to, that they fit into a category, I think that's what you said. Like what do you mean by them being in a different category, or they fit into some kind of ideologue or something along those
Um,
lines?
well, like, I know a lot of women who can come by and, they're very decisive and they're very clear and objective oriented, and they're like, I mean,
Hmm.
they're girl bosses and they own it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
they do a good well. And I know a lot of guys that are very nurturing and they're
yeah,
great parents, great supporting husbands, and they just own that. And they're not
yeah,
confronted by what it looks like to
right.
be different.
Mm,
They're just like,
yeah,
this is who I am. And they usually surround themselves, especially when you get yourself with a partner who understands who you are and supports you, whatever your gender is. Like
yeah,
when you make up a team, man, you can
yeah.
take on anything,
Oh, for
and
sure.
that's one thing that in the like, we bring up the Bible a lot. A lot of people will look at the, wives, submit yourselves unto your husbands, like, but the language behind that is it's more of a partnership, and
Hmm.
it's like having your battle buddy who's got your six.
Right,
Like get your partner six. That's what that submit means. It's like
right.
create overlapping fields of fire. You're in a war zone together. Like go through it together. Watch each other's back. Support each other. So it's not like, oh, submit. Well, yeah, my husband's always right and I'm always wrong. That's not the language. That's not what was
Yeah,
intended. That's what's been interpreted, and that's what's
yeah,
been acted out on a lot. But that it was
yeah.
never intended to be. So finding that partner who can cover your back, who can,
Right. Yeah,
provide
fill
the
in the
strength that
gaps.
you
Yeah.
lack and support you in your strengths and overcome your weaknesses. Like that's what you find. So no matter which of those traditional roles you find, if you've got a partner that fulfills you and
Hmm.
backs you up and then supports you by filling in the places where you're weak, you're an unstoppable team. Period.
Yeah, I believe in that.
So,
I know a dude who's like, it was funny when I first met him. He's that you would call him like a retrosexual kind of person. And he's a dude, loves women. He's married. But if you were to, you would think he's a flaming dude because of like the things he say, how he says it. You would think he's gay, but he's not. He's straight as heck, and a married man, and that, and a very successful person. And so again, like, I would always ask, well, what are the metrics that are people, ascertaining to what a man is, right? It's very, like you said, it could be subjective. And so again, that's why I think it's always looking at like, well, what's the finish line? Whether you take that linear conventional path or diverging and branching off, and but you end up at the finish line at the same way. I think it's all good, dude. I really do. And
all right, I
just
got one for you, man.
uh,
I'm like, this is killing me. Have you seen The Way of the House Husband?
oh yes, the anime. Yes, I have. Dude, it's hilarious.
That guy, be
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah, exactly.
I love that show. That's so awesome. Because
Yeah,
yeah, big thug yakuza guys all in a house apron and hunting bargains at the that like be
but
that guy. That's awesome.
super funny. It's super good anime, man. Netflix, I think, right? Yeah, it was
Yeah,
good.
it's a good
They
time.
actually they actually made a live action one. It was
Did they?
I we yeah, yeah, we started it, but it wasn't as good. There's just
Yeah, it can't be.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's like Yeah, you can't do it. But it was good. It was a good anime. I'd recommend it to people.
That's
But yeah,
fair,
man.
man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get caught up in too much of the finer details of other people's lives that, they just forget about, they forget about the overall bigger picture of things, man. And
Yeah,
that, yeah, I mean, like, is the dude a good person? If he's a good person, I think he's doing good, right?
yeah.
Because I know a lot of dudes that are this masculine person, and they're just total, just retards, idiots,
I don't know if you're
and
allowed to say retards.
no, yeah, I can say it. It's okay. That no, I'm kidding. They're just but you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
They don't live up to what they're spitting. It's all it is.
Yeah, I think it kind of stems from a pride issue. And the reason I
Yeah.
say that is because people don't like to feel bad about themselves. People don't like to see their inherent flaws. So they will find something that they're good at and
Hmm.
they will say, this is the standard. And if you don't meet the standard, then you're not worth
Yeah.
my time
Right.
because they're too afraid to admit their own weaknesses. They're too afraid to admit the strengths in other people, you
Yeah.
know? So from that place of pride, and you see that in like the religious context, like gay people, like I'm not tempted to be gay. So therefore I'm better than you. Like you've got your own sin, bro.
Yeah.
Like you've got
It's
your
a
own like big flaming sin, but
yeah.
you don't want people to know about that. And you're not tempted on this. So you
Yeah.
use this to beat other people down. Like you're
Yeah.
not better than them. Like we're all in this together.
Absolutely. And I think that's why a lot of people, and this will, for the end of time, it will always be like this. It's, just as humans, we look at sin on a spectrum, like,
Mhm.
telling a lie and murdering somebody are two different things, but in the eyes of a sovereign God, they weigh the same on a scale of justice. But I get it because like if you were to put a pedophile in front of me, I'm not ministering to that guy. I'm probably going to beat the hell out of him. That's the truth. I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? As much
Yeah.
as I love people and as much as I love God, that's the honest truth. It'd be very hard for me to overlook that. But that's why we are not God. You know what I mean? That's why there's one God and a just one. But um yeah, man, I think for people that specifically that like to look at, gays, it's much easier to call it out because you can see it, right? Most people can like easily look at like somebody lives their life and for some reason they feel like it's their duty to judge people and it's I don't know, it's insane, dude. It's really insane.
Yeah. And even just without like from the masculine context, like, do you even lift, bro? Like,
Yeah,
you see somebody who's there who's got like more than three brain cells rubbed together, and that's
yeah,
intimidating. You're like, yeah, but can you lift? Like, no, but I can do advanced calculus and
yeah,
trigonometry, and I'm probably going to be your boss one day.
yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't handle that conversation. So I
right,
got to make myself better than you. So I have to look at what I'm good at and look at what
right,
you're not good at and make the picture about the disparity in these two categories.
right.
And it's a falsehood. It's an illusion.
Yeah. I
We'll
will
never.
say, I will say though, and this is just like Sam, me, my own opinion about it. Whether anybody can find this in the Bible or look at it from a philosophical standpoint. I am a true believer in somebody being like just very multifaceted.
Mhm.
I do think people should be physically strong. I do think everybody should be able to do calculus. I do think everybody should be able to be a deep thinker in philosophy of some kind. You know what I mean? It's just I feel like everybody like
I
I,
disagree because I'm not math brained.
oh well you know what I don't okay I said calculus maybe that's too much but I just all I'm getting at is just being multifaceted and anytime like I think of like so anytime I'm talking to anybody about like, you and I may be an engineer, gone, went to school for physics. You obviously have dove into art and philosophy, but the commonality between you and I is critical thinking. You and I
Mhm.
come from the same headspace of being able to think about something, and I think that's all that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about whether you can do the math or not, or do the physics or not, or do the deep think. It's more of just the critical side of it and that's what I mean. I think people should have some kind of creativity side, and they should also have some kind of critical thinking side. There's just, again, just the whole multifaceted picture is what I'm trying to paint, and for me personally, it has only but benefited me. It has only but helped me be a better person. It really has. And I think everybody do, because I love anime, I love games, I love engineering. I hate math, but I'm decent at it. I love doing art. I love playing the guitar. I love doing all these things, and I think all of it collectively makes up like a better Sam, a really cooler, better Sam. Because without any one of those, I think I'm an idiot. I really do.
Yeah,
I just don't think I'm a better person.
I can see that.
Yeah, yeah. But then holding all that together for me, it's definitely just the spiritual aspect of it, just believing in who God is. That's just where I come from. It really does.
No, yeah, the only thing I could think of to critique that would be, some people are just differently able. Like some
Mm,
people don't have the capacity to hold as many facets as somebody else.
mm,
And to that end, I think you know, it's important to be who you are, be confident
true.
in who you are,
Yeah,
in your strengths and your weaknesses, and then have compassion towards other people.
yeah.
You know,
The only reason why I would disagree with that is because, again, like, I'm just looking at myself. Nowhere
sure,
in my life was I ever planning to like do what I do for a living.
right.
Um, Dude, I promise you, if any of you guys ever knew who I was, and I think I've shared with you before, one day I'll share my testimony with like other people, but I don't think anybody would be like, well, like all my friends, if they watch this, they'd be like, that Sam does that. Sam actually like, and that's where I would like to like disagree with that idea that some people are capped on some kind of ability to be able to do something. Now you can do
Mhm.
whatever the heck you want if you really just want to. I really am a firm believer in that. I am, because if you were to tell me that I was doing like all these kinds of like trig and calculus, I would have, 10 years ago, I would have told you, oh, you're crazy.
Yeah.
I would have told you you're an idiot. There's no way, right? I don't know. I feel like if people really want to be something, they can. They really can. They just have to. It has to be in the mind, and then from there, you got to somehow manifest it physically in your own self. And I really do believe in that. I do. I hate using that word manifest, by the way, but but at the same time, I feel like it's fitting for that.
No, I hear you.
Yeah,
No, I definitely understand your perspective on that.
yeah.
I don't know.
I love it. Yeah.
It's the thing that gets me is like as multifaceted as an individual could be,
Hmm.
and how many individuals are out there. Like you've
Right.
got infinite combinations, infinite possibilities, and that excites me. Like that's one of the things that just really pumps me up is like finding
Yeah.
what makes each individual them,
Yeah.
and like bringing out the best in them, and helping them, encourage them with their weaknesses. Like, man, that fills me with so much passion because, gosh, it's like I'm trying to think of a good analogy. It's like going to Barnes and Nobles, and like you see all these books, all the bestseller list. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just this wall of books. And like I've read a couple of those. And I'm like, oh, this is in this category, like
Yeah.
because this was a good book. What's the book next to it like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just like there's just all this potential, and you just don't know until you dive in and
Hmm.
find out like how good the book actually is and why
Yeah.
it deserves to be on that shelf. And that's what I do when I look at people. As long as I'm not driving,
Yeah.
miss me driving. That part of me no longer exists when I got a wheel in my hand. But
Yeah.
outside of that, yeah, like just the sheer potential and how amazingly we're all created and gifted.
Hmm.
It pumps me up, man. Gets me excited.
Yeah. No, it is, man. I mean, there is uniqueness in everybody, man. That's for sure. There really is. But yeah, man. Yeah. But again, just to go back to the whole idea of what a social norm for man, woman, whatever it be. I don't know. It's hard to. I don't think anybody can like confidently stand there and be like, you know, outside of like calling out, genitals, right? You couldn't
Yeah.
really be like, this is how you ought to be as a man.
Yeah.
I honestly just don't agree with that at all. Because again, you can look at all these different dudes who are very, that you would say are successful in being what we consider a man, and they're doing it good, they're doing it right, and by the way, they're all doing it different. They're all doing it
Mhm.
differently, and it works, it really does. And so back to what you're saying, it's I think that's the uniqueness that that God really puts in all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. So what do you got going on for the holidays? Got any great grand plans?
Not really, man. um we were thinking of doing Vegas sometime next week, probably like the day after Christmas, but I think that plan got canned actually tonight. Um, I think my wife she wants to look for snow, but that usually means going on a big mission of going up to either Tahoe or Mammoth. And I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready for that kind of journey right now, but we'll see. What I want to do is just stay home and just chill.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. What
Of
about you?
course,
What you got going on?
well, we're in the process of selling the house,
Yeah.
and we've got gas leaks in our heaters, so
Mm,
we don't have gas to heat the house or cook food with. So we've been coming up with creative solutions to those problems. And fortunately,
yeah.
we're in Southern California, so it's not like we're gonna in the potential to freeze to death. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been interesting. So I think that we're gonna try to look for events outside of the house to uh, keep our mind off the fact that it's cold in here.
I gotcha. Okay. Okay. And because you said they probably won't be by in time for Christmas, right? If to have it
Yeah,
up for Christmas. I gotcha. Okay. And well, yeah, no, I think that's all we're doing. We usually open presents the on Christmas Eve. Like usually my kids will say, "Oh, can we open one?" I'm like, "Just open them all, dude." That way I don't have to be up early in the morning, Christmas Day. I can
gotcha.
just
Yeah.
sleep. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we have a tradition. It's on Christmas Eve. I think it's like after 9 o'clock. You can open one present,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
every hour you stay up after 9 o'clock, you can get one thing out of your stocking.
Really? Oh, that's cool. I like
That's
that.
fun.
Yeah.
That's fun. But now that the
So,
kids are older, like they're like, well, we're gonna stay up till 5 o'clock in the morning anyway, and then we're still gonna wake you up at 6:30 to open the rest of the.
all right.
They've
So,
hacked that system, so we have to go back to the drawing board on that. But
do you guys still have were you guys able to decorate and have like your Christmas tree up or anything like that? No?
no,
Oh man.
no.
I think that would have been cool. I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
one of the things. Like the kids are always like, that especially Lane, she's like, well, you don't even like the holidays. I'm like, child, you have no idea. I love if I could decorate and keep it up all year round, I would love it.
yeah,
Christmas music, I like everyone I tell them, like, I'm happy when I'm singing out loud. And I will sing Christmas songs until the cows come home. I love the music. I
yeah,
love the energy of it. I love all of it. So yeah, I'm a very much a Christmas person. But with my back being the way it is, like I haven't been able to like get up ladders and hang decorations for the last couple of years. So I'm
mm,
like, I'd love to decorate, but I can't physically
yeah.
do it. So
I got you, man. Yeah. Because we're doing renovations in the house as well, like breaking walls down and about to start tiling here shortly. And so we didn't want to have the hassle of having the tree up. So dude, we like I think Star went to maybe like Dollar Tree and she bought one of these small little trees that light up. It goes right on like a little desk on a table. That's our tree. And we just have all the presents around it on a table. It's freaking hilarious. But I mean it works. My kids love it and is what it is. They kind of
yeah,
understand.
I think it's important to have some kind of expression because yeah, I do. I love going out at night, driving around, looking at the lights.
Oh yeah.
I love all of it. I
Yeah, me
don't
too.
like presents. I would think I was telling you about this. Like I love giving people gifts,
Yeah.
because I see something that makes me think about them, and I'm like, I want to show you how much I appreciate you because I saw this and it made me think about you. But if someone were to tell me like you're contractually obligated for holiday reasons to
Yeah.
give someone a gift, that makes me rankle. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it. So
Yeah. I
I
feel that.
don't like the gift giving part of Christmas, but
Yeah.
everything else I love.
Yeah, man, to be honest, like we do the same thing. We usually just buy only for the kids. And
Mm,
then I have like my best friends and my nephews and nieces that I'll maybe spend a little bit on, but I never buy anything for I tend to not buy for other adults most of the times. I definitely don't, and this might, I think a lot of people would think this, kind of bad, but I don't ever buy anything for my wife. We just, and she doesn't buy anything for me. I just think it's a silly thing, as far as like gifting to your significant other, just because like if there's anything she will. Oh, and the thing that triggered this actually was, man, like years ago, I went and bought my wife, so I think it was a purse, and it was a good purse. It was like a $300 purse, but it turned out to not be the brand she wanted, and so she ended up having to go back, take the purse back, and get the bag she wanted. And so my train of thought ever since then, I'm just like, well, shoot, just go buy whatever the heck you want. Just just,
exactly.
just
Yeah.
go buy what the heck you want. Like like I'm not gonna do that. I feel like I'm just gonna ruin it and then break my own heart. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
done that too. I'm like, oh, this gift is perfect. I'm gonna go get it. And then Amy's like, oh, where'd you get this? Oh, I got this from someone. Like, ooh, no, you should have gotten this from this place. You could have got it for like 15% off and gotten a gift card for this. And I'm like, why am I doing any of this? Like,
yeah,
and it's not that I don't think it's because she didn't appreciate the gift. It's
right.
just
It's
it's
not what they
something
wanted.
about the economic provider. Because Amy, she
Yeah,
does all the shopping, she pays all the bills. Like she's very much budget oriented. So like when she
right,
sees something like that, she's like, oh, I could have gotten a better deal on that. I'm like, yeah, but then it wouldn't have been my gift. It would have
right,
been. So
right.
yeah, I'm just like anything you want, anytime you want. Like I'm down for that. Just
Exactly.
don't make me put it in a box and put it under a tree. Like
Exactly.
I don't think that.
I love it. See, it's not controversial. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. It's like there's this big stipulation, like this thing that's the societal norm that's put on people like you have to do it big, and if you go back in time, like go back to the 40s, the 50s, or whatever, when Christmas was starting to get big, kids would get one gift a year and they're like that was their thing. But when you go to Macy's or you go to Woolworths or whatever stores that they went to back then, they would have the displays that had the tree with all the presents under it.
Right.
So it became, oh, so Christmas means lots of presents.
Mm,
I want the Christmas that looks like the display window, so I have to get multiple gifts, and then people incur debt, and it's just this thing that was why, what was ever the
yeah.
point? Like it was never meant to be that way,
Yeah.
but it's morphed into this thing that if you dare to stand up against it or do something different, you're automatically labeled a Scrooge or a Grinch.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I get that, and I think it's weird because, and this will sound weird too, but even that there's like a sense of pride in it, right? That
Hmm.
people have like some kind of pride that I need to buy them something. I'm like, you don't need to do
Yeah.
anything like that. What makes you feel obligated to have to do this for somebody, right? Yeah, especially depending on like how often you see people. It's such a weird. It's a weird thing, man. It really is. I don't know,
So this Christmas, all you guys that are out there
but
watching, don't focus on gifts, don't focus on stuff.
yeah,
Focus on connections because connections are real. And keep those connections throughout the year.
exactly.
That's real. And that's how you can keep Christmas alive all year round.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my
I believe
advice.
that.
All
I
right, man.
second that.
Well, do you got any final thoughts or pearls of
No,
wisdom you want to leave with us?
no, not really, man. Just if there's anything like just kind of going back to our earlier talk, if there's anything I'd ever encourage anybody to do, well, mostly to men, just like consider. you know, diving into different things. That's like diversifying. And I'm not talking about maybe you should know how to do drywall. Maybe you should know how to do plumbing. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about like your mindset. I think uh, just being on a linear path your whole life it's not bad because then you kind of know the direction you're going at all times, but it's boring. It's boring and in a way, I think it can be unhealthy, especially if you're interacting with more people or other people. It can be unhealthy. Open up your minds, man. Open up your minds. Open up the way you think, and I think it will be better for you for sure.
I'm gonna say the same thing, only difference is I'm gonna say that to the women.
There we go. Even that.
No,
Even that.
this is what I'm saying. Like this advice is, yeah, man, that's just good advice for anybody. Like,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure. For sure.
go enrich yourself, enrich your mind, enrich your experience, enrich
Yeah.
uh, broaden your perspective so you can see the enrichment in other people and not in a
Mm.
competition or a thing where I have to outdo someone else, but just enjoy them for their successes, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely, man.
So,
Absolutely.
man.
I love it, dude. Well, it was good talking to you, Burr.
All right, man. Well, I don't know if I'm going to do anything next week. So if I don't, which I probably won't, I don't know. Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to see you before then, but if I don't see anybody else in the audience, Merry Christmas. Have a good holiday. And if you're feeling down, if you're feeling lonely, anything, man, reach out, reach out, reach out. I'm here. Even
Yeah. Hit the comment section. Yeah.
if you're within a reasonable distance, I'll drive to you to make sure you're not alone. If you're on the East Coast, like some of my family, like
There
man,
we
you just
go.
gonna like solidarity, like y'all keep it on your side and I'll keep it on mine. No, I'm joking. Yeah, reach out, find someone. If it's not me, find somebody. Love on somebody. All right, that's all I've
Bro,
got. Well, thanks for joining me, Sam, and we will
take it easy, man.
do it again some other time. Love you, bro.